Hi, Timothy Carlson here, and anytime is a good time for the Beatles. And that's why today we're going to unbox this. This is the Beatles, the original studio recordings, the stereo box. This came out, I believe, back in 2009 when the Beatles catalog had first been remastered for CD. So I'm going to unbox this release and I will share my opinions. Again, a lot of the individual albums in here have since been remastered and reissued on their own with even more bonus tracks and things. So, nice close-up of the cover art. Got the Beatles logo and the apple. Here's the side of the box. Other side of the box. Top of the box. Bottom of the box. Here's the back with the backing card. We'll slip the cover off now. Here's a close-up of the backing card. So basically you get 217 songs in here. These are the stereo remasters of the album. There was also a Beatles and mono box set, but that doesn't include all the albums because their latter few albums never got released in mono because by that point the music industry and the way things were recorded had changed. There's a look at the CDs. You get all of the original studio albums plus the 2 CD past master set that has all the non-album A's, B's, and EPs. And there's also a disc, a DVD disc here that's got mini documentaries on the making of each album. Back to the box here. Here it is, just, without that slip cover on. And then the back cover after you take that off is just pretty much the same as the front cover. One side's got the cut apple and the other side's just got the whole apple. So let's open this up. Okay, this folds open like so, and we have 2 grooves on this side, plus these little ribbons to make it easier to get the CDs out here. So I'm going to pull these out, and I'll just go through each of these in order. Okay, so again, I'm just going to go through each of these in order and show off what's in here. First of all, we have the band's 1963 debut album, Please Please Me. And each of these has the little Apple sticker that mentions the documentary and the remastering. And this folds open like so. I do love this, gatefold style art. There is a booklet here as well. Then you got the CD here. They put these in these little plastic sleeves, and it's got like the old Parlophone label. I like the way that looks, actually. It's like they tried to recreate the originals of how these looked when they first got released on vinyl. So they don't just all have the Apple Records logo on it, because of course most of their catalog predates them founding Apple. And then next up we have their sophomore album, later released in 1963 with the Beatles. Same deal here, we got a nice gatefold here that folds open, and this one also, it's a replica of the old Parlophone label, but slightly different artwork there. One thing I will say, this packaging is kind of flimsy. It's like the glue they used to hold this together is not very durable, so you can already see that's kind of, lifting up there. Over here we've got the booklet, which replicates the cover art. Again, nice photos and essays there. Some recording notes and things like that. We then have their third album, 1964's A Hard Day's Night, also the soundtrack of their first feature film. Here's the CD, pretty similar looking Parlophone label to the last CD we looked at. And over here we've got our booklet. And I'm not going to get too into the individual songs on each album here because countless YouTubers have already done that, and even I've done that a little in my other videos. And we come to their fourth album and second release of 1964, Beatles for Sale. Again, I really like the attention to detail with these packages, but the glue they used to hold these together was not of a very high quality, and some of these are already starting to fall apart. Once again, kind of that similar Parlophone label there. Then we have our booklet on this side. We then come to their fifth album, released in 1965, and the soundtrack of their second movie, Help. And again, this pretty much has the same Parlophone label as the others. We then have our booklet. I kind of like this booklet because it's got some of the images of them, from the movie. The movie itself is actually this sort of parody of spy thrillers. It's really got to be seen to be believed, for better or worse. We then come to the band's sixth album and second release of 1965, Rubber Soul. And again, pretty much, once again, that same Parlophone label on the CD. I really do wish they'd put these in paper sleeves rather than plastic ones because these get scrunched up really easily. On this side, we've got our booklets. Here's our track list for this album. And come to the band's 1966 release and their seventh album overall, Revolver. There's the CD. Again, pretty much that exact same Parlophone logo on there. Booklet is on this side. Got that classic Klaus Vormann artwork there. And we then come to what a lot of people consider to be the best Beatles album. I don't really agree with that, but Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This being the first Beatles album where the UK and US releases both had the same exact track list. And once again, pretty much that exact same Parlophone logo. I know we're going to start getting away from that here in a minute because we're about to get to when Apple Records started. This side has our classic artwork there on the booklet. There's the back. And this has lyrics in the booklet. Sgt. Pepper was actually the first ever album by any band to include lyrics, which sort of became common practice in later years for many artists across many genres. We then have the band's other 1967 release, Magical Mystery Tour. Originally released as a short EP in England, some other single tracks were added to the US release. So this is the rare album where the US release is considered to be the official overall global release of the album. And this, of course, was also the soundtrack to a film of the same name, which aired on television and did not really get the best reviews. See, now on this one we've got a Capitol Records logo, which I guess replicates the original American vinyl release. Our booklet is on this side. On the back, you got that, trippy looking distorted artwork from the Your Mother Should Know segment of the movie. So you got photos from the movie, and you also got some artwork in here as well. And of course, more photographs and historical notes. Next up we have from 1968, The Beatles, the self-titled album, aka the White Album. I love those photos of the band on the back. Those have always looked very cool. This comes out of a slipcover. There's the front cover, and back cover's got a list of the tracks and the copyright info. Got those same photographs inside the sleeve here. They really went for sort of a minimalist thing on this, of course. Over here we've got the disc 1. This is the only album that takes up 2 discs, and it's got the Apple Records logo on it. In the middle sleeve here we have this 2, which features the apple cut down the middle, which sort of became tradition when it came to these Apple Records releases. Over here we have our liner notes. As usual, not going to go through every single page here, but you can kind of get an idea of what's included. We then have the soundtrack to the animated film Yellow Submarine. This album is unlike the others because it only has 4 original Beatles songs. Then it's got 2 songs that had appeared on previous albums, the song Yellow Submarine and All You Need Is Love. And then the rest of the CD is score tracks by George Martin. Interestingly, again, this was an animated film, but the Beatles didn't actually voice themselves in it. They only appear in the film themselves proper at the very end, just in sort of a quick cameo. Over here we have our CD. Once again, you got the Apple logo on that one. Like I was saying before, that glue that holds these together isn't very good because this is already sort of coming loose. Over here we have the booklets. We then have the band's classic 1969 swan song, Abbey Road. And now we're getting to that territory where they're all like the Apple Records logo on the CDs themselves. Here is our booklet. One of the most iconic rock and roll photographs there is right there. And then the band's official final album from their original tenure together. This actually came out a few months after the breakup, Let It Be. One complaint I do have with this set, it has the standard Apple Records logo, but as any diehard Beatles fan knows, when this was released on vinyl, it actually had a red apple, probably symbolic of the band's breakup. And if you look on the back cover, there actually is a red apple on there, so I wish they would have kept that consistent and authentic. Here we've got the liner notes. And this, of course, was the soundtrack to a film of the same name. And a lot of that footage has been repurposed for the new Get Back documentary that's now on Disney+. And we're not quite done yet. Next up, we have Past Masters. It's basically every A-side, B-side, or EP track that did not appear on one of the albums. So, nice close-up there, just the classic Beatles logo. CD1, and that's got that old Parlophone logo like the other early releases did. And the other CD is in here as well, and the second disc has the Apple logo because a lot of those standalone singles came out at that time. Then we have our booklet for this one. It is amazing that many of the band's most popular songs were never actually on an album, including tunes like She Loves You, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Day Tripper, We Can Work It Out, Revolution. The list goes on. And then our last disc in the set is this DVD disc of the mini documentaries. So this is basically just album by album, the making of each album on a DVD. And the individual documentaries themselves can be viewed on the respective CDs if you put them in a computer, because they're enhanced CDs. Does anyone remember enhanced CDs? Is that even still a thing? You know, you got that Apple logo, but it's sort of like, you know, sepia tone, monochrome looking. So there we've arrived at the end of this set. It's great to have all this Beatles music together in one place. I mean, there's no denying these are some of the greatest songs of all time. However, I'm not a fan of the glue they used to hold the sleeves together, because as you can see, a lot of these were already falling apart. It would have been nicer if they just had, like, you know, jewel cases, or even just, you know, the paper slim pack cases that they use in some of these things. A lot of these albums have since gotten reissues that have been remastered and have additional bonus tracks on them, so depending on how big of a Beatles fan you are, you may want to go for those instead, especially if you're into, like, bonus tracks and outtakes and rare stuff like that. I can give this one a modest recommendation. If you can find this one cheap for a good price, I'd certainly recommend it. It is a nice way to get every proper Beatles album from back in the day in one swift swoop, along with those single-only tracks on the past master CDs. Now, this does not include any, like, after-the-fact releases. Like, it doesn't include that Hollywood Bowl live album. It doesn't include the Live at the BBC CDs, and it doesn't include the anthology CDs. But again, you can get all that stuff separately, and a lot of that's been reissued anyhow. Have you picked up this set? Did you get this? Did you get the mono box? What version of buying the Beatles albums did you prefer to do? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.